Hello, everybody. This is Nick Totaro, Professor of Information Technologies and Computer Science, Lakeland Community College. All right, it's time that we analyze photos for our project, our USB project. Now, before we even get started with that, let's be honest that we just don't have the time to really deep dive into images. That's another chapter all to itself. So this video is going to be a little bit more, specifically more about your report and expectations on your report. There will be videos about actually examining the deeper details of photos. So we're going to suspend disbelief just a little bit here. But before we even get that, why have photos become so important in what we do in our daily lives? Because we're all carrying around a camera in our phone. I've said this many times in other videos. I know I've mentioned this probably from the age of 0, the day I was born, till I was 45 years old. There might be 400 or 500 photos of me total. I'm talking school photos, family photos, weddings, you name it. Maybe 400 or 500. People take 400 or 500 photos in a week now, and we're not even taking cameras on vacation. We're taking our smartphones. My smartphone's over here. That's why I'm kind of looking at it. And our smartphones have done a lot with photos. For example, most smartphones now put GPS into the metadata of that image. Most cameras nowadays put GPS and other information inside those photos, and we will definitely look at those in more detail in other videos when we start talking about photo analysis and things like that. So they've become a record, an ongoing record of where and what we're doing. So let's look at this particular demo case, and let's see what we do and what type of information I want to see on your report. Alrighty, so again, this is my demo. I have several different cameras. I'm not going to go through all of the different cameras and their formats. That probably be for another time. I'm going to focus on basically two types of photos or images. One is coming from a smartphone, and one is coming from a camera that doesn't provide us any particular information. I think the one that's coming from a smartphone, it's my iPhone 10, and we can look at the particular data and what can get reported. As we see here, up here, I have two photos in the folder called iPhone. One has been deleted and one is available. Even if I go to the deleted one, it's still there. You can see that it's a picture of some kind of clock tower. All right. I think most of you recognize Lakeland's clock tower, but we can't come out and say that yet. Now, if we have GPS data on it, that's a different situation. Then we can say that, that is Lakeland's clock tower. But if we don't have GPS data on it, we can just make an assumption, say we assume based upon other evidence that's the Lakeland Community College clock tower. In the phase 1 video about imaging, I did mention that I really want two things. I want both the file metadata and the analysis result, because it's the analysis results that's going to say what type of camera you're using and any GPS data. So this is the deleted file. Let me go to the undeleted file. Pretty much the same thing. And I've already put it, if you remember, I put it in the report. Let me get to the right report number. Sorry about this. Okay, here we go. So this is the picture. Make sure I have my metadata in there. Yep. And then we even take a look at the analysis of information. Now, for your report, sorry for zooming around, hope you don't get seasick here. Because it's an image, I want a copy of that image into this document. Now, is that the image that they would use in court? No, they would actually use the real image, or if it's a civil proceeding, it's a company, they would use the real image. This is just a report. It's just kind of giving us what we're looking at. In our executive summary, we'll write that in a second. We begin to look and do some quick cleaning up here. I'll move my MD5 up here, and I will move the SHA 256. Now, for your given report, we've often kind of glanced over the value of the MD5 and the SHA-256, but now we're dealing with images. And images, well, actually all files can be manipulated, but an image can be prejudicial, where, oh, all of a sudden I see an image that maybe somebody tweaked or something like that. So from the original to the new, from the original to the one that you work in, we always want to make sure afterwards, it's not part of this project, that the MD files still match, because they don't say, well, something changed. In 1994, the O.J. Simpson murder case, they had his mugshot. And when it was published on one of the magazines, they actually darkened his mugshot. So you see that images can be manipulated. So all of a sudden, it's always been important, but the hash values become really important, or much more important. We're looking at particular dates and times and all this other stuff. You'll notice that, oh, we do have latitude and longitude. This photo was taken by an iPhone 10, an Apple iPhone 10. That's good information to have. And this photo also has a latitude and longitude. Now, with the latitude and longitude, we can put that device, maybe not the individual, but we can put that device at a very specific location on the globe. But there's something really cool with a Topsy, and we could even expand upon it. So let me go to a Topsy. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do all the photos. I'm not going to do an individual photo. But I have this photo. And up here in this button here is called the geolocation. And what that's going to do is any photo that has a GPS, it's going to put that GPS on a map. So let me do geolocation, and boom, there is the map of where these photos were set up. And if I click on one of the photos, all right, it actually shows the photo, its location, and I think I probably took about 30 or 40 photos, but there's only 4 or 5 that are in this assignment, in this particular demo. But that's a really nice piece of information, because this is saying with confidence that this device was at that location, and this device took the clock tower, took an image of Lakeland Community College's clock tower. So what I'm going to do here is, obviously we have the GPS data, but I'm going to capture this image just enough that, right, provides us a little bit more data. And I'm going to put it under notes. All right. So if you're on your report, if you have GPS data, go to geolocations, and I want to see where they're specifically at. Okay. You don't have to get fancy with it. Just do exactly what I did right there. Put that geolocation image of the images into the report. Now, I want to show you something that's really cool. This is kind of like an extra step. You do not have to do it for your report, but let me go back to a Topsy. And you can barely see it. But down here in this corner right here, you see something called KML report. I always forget, I have to write this down. KML stands for Keyhole Markup Language. It's actually a markup language that Google Earth uses, that you can upload to Google Earth, and it will actually put the pinpoints on a Google Earth map. So let's do that. Again, you don't have to do this for this report, but I just think it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to say, yep. So this is going to go inside the case under reports. I'll say okay. Now if I go to the case, forensic cases, this is for demo, under a Topsy, for demo, under reports. Hey, they bury this down. I actually have done this KML twice. Well, I'll go to this one, the one that we're just working on. And there's the KML report, and there's any particular images it have. Now, remember this, and now let's go to Google Earth, all right? And under Google Earth, you see new, they have projects. I'm going to click on new, and I'm going to say local KML file. I'm going to upload that KML file. I'm going to say import it. And I say import that one. And you'll notice that Google Earth was nice enough to put the pinpoints of where particular images were. It's interesting. Picture's worth 1,000 words, but you're definitely at this point, you're definitely saying, okay, I know exactly where that image is. So I just kind of want to point out, you do not have to do this with the USB drive, that you're imaging. You do have to do at least this, kind of show where those points are. Make sure when you show your points that you at least see some kind of street names in there, so it's a little bit easier to read. So we've done a lot. We found a latitude and longitude. Now let's go up to our executive summary, and we're just going to write this out. We're going to say image taken with iPhone 10 does have GPS coordinates. You don't have to put the coordinates in there. GPS coordinates indicate that this image was taken at the Lakeland Community College clock tower. Oops. I must have hit a key by accident. Tower. Taken of, not at, of. The other thing you'll notice is there is a time on that clock tower. When we investigate images, we have to be very aware of the content of those images. You take a picture of a clock, there's a good chance that that clock is running. So this was taken at 1:15, 1:16, time on clock, or you say time in image is or was 13:15. Now, let's keep that in mind for a second. So the clock says about 13:15, maybe 13:16. All right, don't have to get hyper accurate here. And if we look at where's the data here? Yeah, look at this data from the phone. Don't worry about this data. Don't worry about the metadata, because that could have been changed when files were copied and moved, copied from the phone over to my computer. Those are access times when they are done on the computer. But if you look at the actual data coming from the phone, that clock was taken at 13:16. All right, so I'm just going up there and change 13:16, and I'm going to say time in image is identical to time in metadata. So it just basically, and we'll stop here with the executive summary, because yes, we can go deeper into, oh, it looks like it's a fall tree, its foliage is coming in, all that. No. We've identified where that image came from. We identified the equipment it was on, what's inside that image. It's the Lakeland Community College. And there was something of interest that was in that particular image. We see a clock and things like that. Now, could we make it a little bit more verbose, that it was taken at the landscape perspective? I turned the camera, so I turned my phone to get a different perspective if we wanted to, but for our analysis, this is just fine. Going back to Topsy, whoops. We have all this other pertinent information. Now, that is completely acceptable for an analysis on the project. Later on, we'll take a look more into digital imaging and some of the things we can do, the different formats, etc. But right now, this particular video, I'm more concerned with getting that executive summary, beginning that process of the executive summary, beginning the process of looking for key pieces of information, looking for the hash values, making things ozone chains, and document them in the report. In a true situation, whether it be criminal or civil, we would obviously go through much more detail if the image was pertinent or something like that. Then we're looking at different cameras. Did the camera zoom? Was it fixed focus? Did it leave a GPS? Was it GPS? Was any metadata removed from there? And things like that. So we have a great start to the project. Let's keep working at it.